Let's fucking go.
Everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I'm here to review Invincible Season 3, Episodes 1 to 3. And just in case you guys are wondering, I did not review Invincible Season 2, or I didn't fully review Invincible Season 2. Invincible Season 2, I had a lot of problems with it, actually. While everybody was saying it was so much better than Season 1, I actually had the reverse problem with it. There was, first of all, I just could, to me, Invincible Season 1 had a good start, but after that, it all went downhill. First of all, sure, I did like the arc that Mark went through, especially with the ending with him having to kill Levy, with him having to come to conclude, him being pushed to the point of killing and having to deal with those consequences. I like the arc that Eve went through. There was things that I did like about it. There's some action sequences that were dope. But overall, it just felt like there were things they did in Season 2 that Marvel or DC could never get away with. They did more fake-out deaths in a single season, in a single 8-episode season, than both Marvel and DC have done in comic books. They faked out multiple deaths. They faked out the Guardian's death, which was an insane thing at the time. They faked out I always forget his name, the one-eyed character that Seth Green played. They faked out his death. They faked out so many deaths over the course of the show that it was just getting a little ridiculous. And that's not to mention the agent, they faked so many deaths that it was at a certain point it had started to become one of these things where I'm just like, dude, I don't even know what to believe anymore. Immortal isn't dead. There was this epic, and I think this is what set me off. I'm gonna move on to Season 3. What made me dislike Season 2 so much was the idea, first of all, they had an episode, and I can't remember the name of it, where the entire Guardians is essentially killed. And it was this unexpected, out of the blue shock to reality. Because the one thing that Invincible has been able to do, and why I loved Invincible Season 1 and Invincible in general, is it's a realistic depiction, or not a realistic depiction, it's not like The Boys, but it is a more brutally honest depiction of what a superhero world would be like. Case in point, Season 1, when Mark and the team are fighting off those aliens and civilians are dying left and right. And they're dying in brutal ways. So often in comics and even the movies, when there is collateral damage, we never see the collateral damage. We don't see it. We don't see the person who got crushed by the rubble when Hulk got thrown through a building. We don't see the person who died choking on, Joker gas when Batman didn't stop him from getting it off in time. We don't really pay attention to those things. But Invincible kind of put a highlight on it. Kind of put a highlight on just how vulnerable people are and just how you don't win all the time and how things can go and how, there are no perfect heroes. There aren't, and being a hero is complicated. It's stressful. There's so much you're balancing. There's so much going on with you. And Invincible highlighted all the more realistic parts of being a superhero and being in a superhero world that Marvel and DC downplay. It's why I always thought Invincible was very important. I like Invincible being a thing because it highlights those things that, like I say, Marvel and DC kind of downplay. But Season 2 completely did the opposite. There's a sequence where the entire Guardians essentially go into a stereotypical mission. It's nothing that you've ever seen before. They even play it up like it's just going to be this side mission thing. And everyone damn near dies. Except no one died. And it looked like no one died. And there's this whole sequence near the end, and it's this emotional thing. And I'm like, yo, this was crazy. This was unexpected. All for you guys to just take it all back. In the end, I just didn't like the way they did that. and it left a bitter taste in my mouth. It left a very hollow taste, and just like by the time the season 2 wrapped up, I was just like, I'm not completely bought into the direction you're going with the show. So season 3 starts, and one of the things that I complain about the most in both season 1 and 2 is, I get it, every comic book fan who's read the series will tell you Mark gets stronger, Mark gets better, but I was just like, oh my god, Mark is just getting his ass kicked so often, and he was just getting his ass kicked by everyone. Like, not just some people, I mean, he was getting his ass whooped by everyone. I mean, like, him getting his ass whooped by, I mean, literally the most iconic sequence in this entire show is Mark getting his ass kicked. So it was kind of just like, geez, man, like, I would love to see this guy win some fights every once in a while. And season 1 kind of starts off by almost acknowledging, like, because in literally season 2 also ends with Mark getting his ass kicked. But I digress. Season 2, season 3 takes place a few months later, and Mark is apparently been on a workout regimen from hell because, you know, Donald and, you know, and the crew from that their version of S.H.I.E.L.D. have been just putting him through the paces, dude. Like, they have been working his ass off. He's stronger, he's faster, he's tougher. You know, like, he's all these things. And they're like, oh, dude, he's getting stronger, he's getting faster, we're putting him through his paces, you know. Cecil, you know, Cecil's putting him through his paces and whatnot. And eventually, and like, so like, that's what you start off with, is him just in this incredible workout regimen. And then at a certain point, you know, he's doing that, and then a certain thing happens, and is Seismic, who was a villain who's been introduced since season 1. But I love how they did this, the whole thing, that like, where Seismic has just really been a small-time villain that Mark fought on his own when he was much, much weaker. And now it turns out Seismic, the entire time he was in prison, was communicating with creatures from under the ground. And either way, Seismic captures all the heroes in America, and it leaves Mark and Eve, who have been flirting. Like, they set that story up in last season where when Mark has fighting that Levy guy who can, you know, travel through dimensions. At a certain point, he travels through one dimension, he kills that Levy guy, and he gets stuck there, only to be visited by a future version of Eve who confesses that Eve always loved him and that he should confess his emotion, and either A, he should love her back, or B, he should tell her he doesn't love her so she can move on with her life. And Mark has been basically sitting on that feeling for like months. Now, also happening in season 2 is him and God damn it, what's her name? Him and was it Amber broke up, which was fucking great because Amber was one of the worst love interests in any comic book property I've ever seen. I mean, not quite as bad as Mary Jane and the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, but she's right behind Mary Jane. But I digress. Although by the time she did break up with him, I did understand why. But once again, I digress. We all kind of knew that it was leading to Mark and Eve being a thing. And by the end of episode 3, they are officially a thing. You know, they are officially giving it a go. But either way, it's up to Eve and him to save the day. And they struggle saving the day, but they managed to pull it out. But in the process of pulling it out, the reason they were able to was because it turns out some villains and characters from the past reared their head again. Now, we already saw that, you know, there was this like almost Darkwing Batman looking motherfucker who was taking over, who was going around killing people in season, I think it might have been season 1. I don't even think, was it season 2 where I think it was season 2 where he captured him. So Cecil is doing shady shit. Cecil is rehabilitating these villains and turning them into heroes, Suicide Squad style. And Mark has a problem with it. Obviously, Mark has a problem with it. And Cecil, and you learn more about Cecil in these 3 episodes. You learn his backstory. There's like a whole episode, or at least half of an episode, I believe episode 2, that's like dedicated to Cecil's backstory. You see how he got his injuries. You see how Cecil once started off so patriotic, so, what's the word I'm looking for? Cecil once started out so, trying to look for the word. Principled. There we go. Principled. He started out with morals and principled. And then over time, after going through certain things, he became more rigid. He became more flexible. He became more of an ends justifies the means kind of a guy. And that's what he's trying to tell Mark. Ends justify the means. And time just erodes certain things. And there's a thing that's said multiple times throughout the course of the 3 episodes. You can either be a good guy or the guy who saves the world. You can't be both. You can't be both a good guy and the guy who saves the world. And I get it, because the idea is, at a certain point, you're going to have to be willing to do something that bad, something that is subjectively bad, in order to save the world. You can't be both. You can't be both. And there's a bit of a philosophical battle there. Cecil is just, like I say, the thing that makes Nick feel like Cecil is this interesting. He's more like he's not like Nick Fury. He's more like Waller. He's more like Amanda Waller. Because like Nick Fury and Amanda Waller are like the flip side of the coins. Because they both are these high-ranking government people who deal with superheroes, who deal with the superheroes and the super people. But they both kind of come at it from different. Because Nick Fury is always like because Nick Fury is just as manipulative. He's just as shady as Amanda Waller and Cecil. But the difference is, when it comes down to it, Nick does believe in heroes. He does believe in their heart. He will give them the benefit of the doubt. He will trust them. Even he'll make backup plans and backup plans on backup plans. But his initial instinct is to trust the heroes, is to give them the benefit of the doubt, is to support them. Whereas Waller is like, I don't trust none of you motherfuckers. I'm going to stab you in the back the moment I get. I'm looking for shit I can get to control you. I don't even want you around if I can't control you. Like, Waller's like the opposite. Whereas Cecil's is like, he's more in the Waller department, where he is like, I want to be a good, like Cecil's like, I want to be a good guy, but I know I can't be. Because in the reality of this world is, I can't have something like the Omni-Man incident happen again. So I have to use everything to my disposal, no matter who it is or what it is, to save the world. Because I'd rather be this hated bad guy, and the world be spinning, than be loved and everyone dies. That's Cecil's mindset. But, it is what it is. Meanwhile, in the background of this is old Oliver, his, the son. Omni-Man's second son, and Mark's little brother, who's been growing up. He's growing up fast, and he's this cute. He's this innocent kid. He's getting his powers. Mark wants to bring him under his wing. He wants to teach him things, but unfortunately, like with so many things, with great power comes great responsibility, and unfortunately, he ends up killing some villains that we've seen multiple times, the twins, and Mark he's really having a hard time balancing, like, how do we guide this kid who has this power so much? Because he isn't like Mark. Mark is half-blood. Mark grew up his whole life on Earth. Like, Oliver is a half-alien. He's growing up faster. He's getting his powers faster. He's a child. His perspective is different. And when you have a kid who could just pick up a house and throw it, like, how do you teach them not to? It's a very Superman-like situation, and it's very interesting. I'll tell you this, Season 3 has me excited. Season 3 has started off on a good foot. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the arc that Mark's going through. I'm hoping for more of the Eve and Eve relationship. The Guardians team is different and changing and molding. There's different things happening there. There's divides, people choosing their sides. Nothing's very simple. Nothing's straightforward. They haven't reintroduced the Viltrumites yet. So, like, we're just building up steam to something, but, like, I'm looking forward to whatever happens next. But anyways, I would give Invincible Season 3, Episodes 1, 2, and 3 an 8 out of 10. I had a good time with it. Anyway, thank you guys for joining the Conquer Movie Show. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.